What's up, everybody? Week 2 in the books, and now we look forward to week 3, and we're looking at our waiver wire pickups for week 3. Who are we picking up this week? So let's take a look at what happened in week 2 and who we're looking at as our waiver wire pickups. Before we get into it, guys, do me a quick favor there. Smash that like, smash that subscribe if you're new. But let's get right to it. But let's start off with some wide receivers. First guy up is going to be Jayden Reed. 8 targets for Jayden Reed, 4 for 37, tacked on 2 tutties on top of that. Jayden Reed was a very interesting guy coming out of college, dealt with a lot of injuries. He was a guy I thought can really push Christian Watson possibly for that #1 spot on this Green Bay offense. Jayden Reed can go inside, outside, great route runner. Christian Watson is awesome as well, but Jayden Reed just can give you some real good PPR work if he continues to grow with Jordan Love. We'll see what happens with Christian Watson when he comes back. But for now, I think Jayden Reed is going to be a must-add. Next up from the Houston Texans, we have Tank Dell. Nico Collins and Robert Woods were both on the waiver wire pickups for last week. But Tank Dell leads the team in targets, one more than Nico Collins and Robert Woods. They had 9, he had 10, 7 for 72, and a touchdown for Tank Dell. Now, CJ Stroud threw the ball 47 times in this game. Is he going to throw the ball 47 times every game? No, I highly doubt that. But we do expect them to be down a lot this year, which is going to cause them to throw the ball even more. After last season, I put out a video on some guys to stash for this year. Nico Collins was on that list, but now we're looking at Tank Dell as the add. I think Nico Collins and Robert Woods will get good work throughout the whole season, and then you've got Tank Dell, who might, as the season goes on, build up a rapport with CJ Stroud. So Tank Dell, definitely a guy that we need to add off the waiver wire for week 3. Next guy up is going to be TUTU Atwell, and we can no longer deny TUTU Atwell. I mean, obviously, these first 2 games, he's been plenty involved. 9 targets last game, 7 for 77, no touchdowns. But a guy that's being very, very involved. And I think the key component here, which we're kind of been sleeping on a little bit all off season and going into the season, is Matt Stafford. You know, his health, how good this offense was going to be without Cooper Kupp, all those things were in question. And they look okay offensively. I mean, Puka has stepped up big time and TUTU Atwell as well. So as long as Cooper Kupp is out, I think we can play TUTU Atwell and Puka Nacua. So TUTU Atwell, a great waiver wire add going into week 3. Next up, we've got the often injured Devontae Parker. 8 targets, 6 for 57 in his first game back for New England. He is a very good wide receiver. The problem is he can never, ever stay healthy for more than a string of games. But if he is healthy, we do have to hold on to him. Hard to actually get him in your starting lineup unless you're in the deepest of leagues or if you've just got a ton of injuries. But Devontae Parker is definitely a guy that we should be looking into on the waiver wire for week 3. Now let's move on to the running back position. And first guy we've got up here is Zach Moss. His first game back coming off the injury, 18 for 88 with the touchdown. Anthony Richardson injured in this game, had to come out, and Zach Moss was the only running back that actually carried the football for the Indianapolis Colts. He also had 4 catches on 4 targets for 19 yards in the air. Zach Moss is not a guy I'm particularly high on, but as long as he's going to be the starting running back for the Colts, he has to be rostered. But if he does get the work, if he is getting the workload, if he's getting the carries, then he is going to be somewhat productive. That we can't deny. So Zach Moss, definitely an RB that we need to add on the waiver wire for week 3. Next up, we got Matt BREIDA of the New York Giants. Saquon with the injury is going to be out at least 3 to 4 weeks. So Matt BREIDA is going to be the guy that steps in. Most likely will be some sort of split backfield with Brightwell, maybe Eric Gray. We'll see what happens. And I'm not particularly high on Matt BREIDA just because of the offense in general. They're going to be giving the ball to a few guys probably in that backfield. It won't just be Matt BREIDA taking over. So it's going to be tough to actually play him, but he's worth the waiver wire add. Let's see what they do next week with that backfield and then determine whether we can play him or not while Saquon is out. But for now, definitely need to add him, pick him up off your waivers for week 3. We did have an injury to Monty on the Lions. He will be missing at least the next few weeks. That opens it up for Craig Reynolds, who came in and got some carries after Monty got hurt. I do expect Jahmyr Gibbs to be ramped up. I do expect him to get a lot more work. But Craig Reynolds is the guy that is going to see some work. It's going to be interesting to see how they divvy up this timeshare between Gibbs and Reynolds? Does Gibbs just take a ton of the work and Reynolds just takes a little bit? Or is it actually going to be Reynolds stepping up into that Monty role and then Gibbs just kind of being the same thing as he's been so far, which has been somewhat of a disappointment. We want Gibbs to get more work. Now that Monty's hurt, Gibbs should get more work and they should use him how they really intended to use him. I think as the season goes on, they were going to ramp up Gibbs, but Craig Reynolds is definitely a guy that you need to roster right now with Monty being out because he is going to get some work. So add Craig Reynolds off of waiver wires for week 3. The next running back that we're adding for week 3 is going to be Latavius Murray. He had 6 carries for 22 yards and a touchdown. Damian Harris had 7 for 33 and a touchdown. Latavius also 2 catches for 9 yards. He's not a guy you want to just plug right in your lineup. He's a guy that you want to just hold on to for now. Because as the season goes on, we know that Damian Harris cannot stay healthy. But Latavius Murray could be a guy over the course of the season that does get more work, especially down in that red zone. So just a guy to kind of hold on to and see what happens there. Next wide receiver up, we've got Jonathan Mingo. I'm actually recording this as this game is happening right now on Monday night. But for me, Jonathan Mingo is a must-add. Again, not for necessarily just next week, but over the course of the season. You've got Adam Thielen, you've got DJ Shark, guys that can't really stay healthy over the course of the season. Next up, we've got one of my guys, Sky Moore. And a lot of people might have dropped him last week. He's a guy I've been talking up all offseason. Very disappointing, obviously, in week 1. But in week 2, he came up pretty big, 3 for 70, only 4 targets, but had the touchdown, had the big play towards the end of the game there that kind of sealed it. Somebody's got to emerge in this wide receiver room. It might not be the same guy every week, but I think at least that Sky Moore, who's getting a ton of snaps, running a ton of routes over the course of this season, start to get more and more involved in who's going to be the guy to step up. Is it going to be Sky Moore? Is it going to be Kadarius Toney? Is it going to be Rashee Rice? My bet is on Sky Moore. Kadarius Toney can't really stay healthy. So go grab Sky Moore off of waivers if he's available. Stash him on the bench. I'm not telling you to automatically play him next week. It kind of depends what your options are. He could be a good streaming play over the course of the season. So grab up Sky Moore and just hold him for now until we can see what happens with this offense over the next few weeks. And then we have Marvin Mims, the rookie out of Denver. Only 2 catches, only 2 targets, but 113 yards with a touchdown, some long bombs. Russell Wilson, a very good deep ball thrower, and Marvin Mims was there for it. So again, only 2 targets, so he's not somebody I'm just automatically plugging in my lineup, but a guy that you might want to stash for later on in the season. As we know, Jerry Jeudy just came back from injury. Not much competition in that wide receiver room. So Marvin Mims, as the season goes on, may become more and more valuable with more playing time, more targets, etc., as this season goes on. So he's a guy that you can just kind of stash on your bench along with Sky Moore and Jonathan Mingo. Well, that'll wrap it up for this video of the waiver wire pickups for week 3. Appreciate everybody for tuning in. Let me know what you guys think down there in the comments. Are you picking up any of these guys? Is there anybody I missed maybe? Drop a comment below. Before y'all get out of here, just do me a quick favor. Smash that like, smash that subscribe if you're new. I'll see y'all on the next one.